ministers, national ministers, state ministers from the 10 states and the 3 administrative areas, UNIMES representative, FAO representative, expert on land, chiefs, women, civil society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. On behalf of the states, ministers of the housing, land, and public utility, the 10 states plus the 3 administrative areas, we could like to thank and appreciate the RRS under the leadership of His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, in entrusting our National Minister of Housing, Land, and Urban Development in entrusting the validation workshop on the National Land Policy Draft 2021 to 2022. We extend our appreciation and thanks to the National Ministry of Housing, Land, and Urban Development. And also we give thanks to the UNIMES consultants, logistic, technical support, and other donors who gave us this support for this validation workshop. As the state ministers of housing, public utilities, and the 3 administrative areas, we will cooperate and coordinate with the RR's related ministry, with the counterparts in the state, so that we implement the land policy. Land policy is necessary for economic development and national planning to attract foreign investors. This land policy will be a base for the states to develop their own land policies, and it will give us a way to review other land-related laws. And it's going to give us a stand to review the Land Act in 2009, Community Land Law, Local Government Act 2009, and etc. To implement this land policy to our citizens, we need a support from the national government in terms of mobility and infrastructure. As we know, other states and the 3 administrative areas are newly established. So we need a support. We need a support from the government from the national government. And we are humbly requesting our donors to support the states, the 10 states and the 3 administrative areas, by extending workshops so that we could implement this national land policy in the 10 states plus the 3 administrative areas. I don't have much, but I give my appreciation to my colleagues in the other states, that we have to cooperate and we have to coordinate. This is a forum that we have to be together so that we solve our problem. We know land is a very essential thing or asset in economics and even in livelihood. We have to be together so that we change experience, so that we put our things in place. I know by this we are going to have a policy which will even help us in the state. If I take in Juba and in other areas, in South Sudan, we have land grabbing, which is actually very bad, and it's giving insecurity. With this policy, we are going to do a lot, and I hope we'll be in place to be together so that we share experience. I have to stop here. I'm representing the 10 ministers of housing, land, and public utility, plus the 3 states. I'm Flora Gabriel, the Minister of Housing, Land, Public Utility, Central Equatoria State. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Flora Gabriel, for the good remarks on behalf of our ministers, honorable ministers from the different states and the 3 administrative areas. Among us here, Your Excellency, are the honorable members of the Standing Specialized Committee on the Land and Infrastructure. We invited them here so that they can be observers and also they can acquaint themselves with what the executive is doing. Ultimately, of course, this policy will go to the Council of Ministers and then it will go to the Parliament. So they have been here so that they just acquaint themselves with what we, the executives, are doing, so that they have an idea and also an opportunity to start reading the policy right from now, so that when it goes to them later on, it will be easy. كلنا هنا بنتكلم كل اللغات إنجليزي عربي. His Excellency بيسمع اللغتين كله. At this point, I call Honorable, the Chairperson of the Standing Specialized Committee on Land and Infrastructure, to give us some comments as all of them have been here with us for the last 3 days. Welcome, Honorable.
السيد نائب رئيس جمهورية جنوب السودان ورئيس الكتلة الاقتصادية، السيد وزير وزارة الأراضي والإسكان والتنمية العمرانية، ووزراء مستوى الولائي ووكلاء الوزارات، وأعضاء البرلمان القومي والبرلمان الولائي، ومجموعة المرأة والسلاطين. نهاركم سعيد. السلام عليكم. اليوم إنني سعيدة أن أقف أمامكم نيابة عن البرلمان القومي ونيابة عن لجنة الدائمة المتخصصة للأراضي والإسكان والبنية التحتية. اليوم أنا سعيد أن أقف أمامكم وأمثل البرلمان ورئيس اللجنة. نحن شهودا على هذا المستند. أولا نقدم الشكر لوزارة الأراضي والبنية التحتية والتنمية العمرانية ومفوضية جنوب السودان للأراضي بالمجهود الذي قدموه قدموا هذا المستند لنا، ونحن كبرلمانيين نحن مستعدين أن يأتي لنا هذا المستند ونتشرع فيه ونجيزه. إذا هنا شفنا هذا المستند يشمل كل القوانين. على سبيل المثال ملكية المرأة، يعني المرأة عندها حق في الوراثة وعندها الحق في الأراضي. عشان كده أنا فخور، أنا بقول هذا المستند مستند قوي، وإحنا عاوزين على سياسة الأراضي الوطنية ده لازم يتنفذ في كل ولايات بتاعنا، وعاوزين نعمل إنه الناس الولايات يعمل توعية لكل الناس إنه المرأة لها دور في الأرض، يعني عندها حق في الوراثة. المرأة ذاته شنو عنده حق في المجتمع في كل مكانات. إحنا في البرلمان إحنا سعيدين، فما عندنا أي حاجة كتير نقول. إحنا بنقول كده إن السبب اللي أدى إلى تأخير هذا سياسة الأراضي ده كان مشاكلات اللي كان حصل في 2013 و 2016. فإحنا ما عندنا كثير نقول، بنقول لكم شكرا وبنشكر الممولين بتاعت الفاو. شكرا.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jacqueline, for your really encouraging words for us here. Thank you very much. We are almost going to an end. Today marks a very important milestone that is the final validation of the South Sudan national land policy. Behind all this work, there must be someone, and he is Honorable Michael Chiangjiek, the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, who really tirelessly work on this. Sometimes he calls me at night, have you done this? Have you done this? I call upon him, Honorable, come and give us just few remarks for the closing of this workshop.
Thank you very much, Under Secretary, Your Excellency, Dr. James Waniga. Not me actually, who was also behind this. Here is the man who was also behind all this success. Your Excellency, our chairperson of the economic cluster. And if you people look at the way we function, our cluster, the economic cluster, is rated the best cluster because we have never missed a meeting. Even if sometime the BP is away, he directed the next minister, which is the Minister of Finance, to make sure that the meeting is also on. So, Your Excellency, you are welcome. We recognize your presence, your reports. Our developmental partners, all the state ministers, with your DGs, chairperson of the Land Commission, our chairpersons, our chairperson in the Parliament, TNLA, Honorable Jacqueline, with her team, with her able team, and also, not to forget, my able team, the people whom I task with this responsibility. Chairman Robert, Engineer Alikaya, the other team members, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Your Excellency, these people you have seen before you are our state leadership, land management institutions, and also our stakeholders at the state level, whom actually participated in this process from day one. After my appointment as a Minister of Land and Housing, Urban Development, the first thing I got in my on my desk was the land policy, which was actually withdrawn from the Parliament because of some differences among the stakeholders, Your Excellency. Simply because some people felt that the draft was drafted without even their consent, which I totally agree. For us to develop a policy, which is a national policy, requires inclusivity, and everyone must actually participate. So, that disagreement, I see it genuine myself, because at the end of the day, we can disagree to agree. And today, I think we agree on the text that we represent all of us as country. So, Your Excellency, we have subjected these documents to everybody. As you are aware, we don't have resources, but our developmental partners, especially the FAO, from day one, when we approached them to help us in this process, without no time, they came in and responded. And the process took us a year and a half or almost 2 years, where we toured all our 10 state and 3 administrative areas. We conduct workshops with chiefs, local leaders, opinions, faith-based group, everybody participated. And the element that was missing was thoroughly addressed. So today, the draft is before all of you. You have endorsed it, and Your Excellency now, the draft will be officially handed to Your Excellency before I submitted it officially to the economic cluster and then to the parliament. Because we have a process, it is not direct to the cabinet. It has to go first of all to our cluster and then the chair. If we have anything that we want also to add, because some of my colleagues have not attended this, although they have the draft, all of them, but we will actually deal with it there. But I believe whatever you guys say here is represent all of us, because you are the line management institutions. Because one of the important, outstanding things in this policy is that issues like land ownership among our women, the females, which has been really an issue in this country, has been thoroughly addressed. No disagreement between men and women anymore on who can actually own a piece of land. And again, it will also address, as I said during the opening remark, that this rampant land grabbing that is happening everywhere in our country, now it is dealt with in this policy and also will come to an end. Because I believe that not all of us, but some individuals, and I repeat, take things as if no one can account them. So this is a clear mistakes that undermine our rule of law. But with this policy at hand, we will be able now to deal with all these issues. Ladies and gentlemen, let me register again my vote of thanks to all of you for coming to this important workshop. And it is indeed a pleasure to interact with some of you, because we are just ahead of ourselves. Somebody in Lake, somebody in Rumbek, somebody somewhere in Jungule, even my good colleagues whom I actually not seen for a very long time, like Comrade Mamer and the others. So you have done a very remarkable job. Without further ado, may all of you rise and join me in welcoming our Excellency, the chair of the economic cluster. Your Excellency, will you speak from there? We want to bring it up. Okay. Yes.
تفضلوا يا جماعة. ما ندير جاهنا سنزيد وتلت عايز سويا. Allow me to begin by saying land policy, oh yeah. Land policy, oh yeah. South Sudan, oh yeah. South Sudan, oh yeah. Peace, Sidukalam Desert, oh yeah. Peace, oh yeah. Honorable Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Michael Chiangjiek, honorable ministers, mostly of the states, the honorable representative of FAO, distinguished guests including DGs and so on. My warm greetings to all of you. Assalamu alaikum. Allow me to congratulate the Honorable Minister and his able team for initiating this highly vital workshop. Mubarak, Said Wazir. I also thank our partners, and especially FAO, for facilitating this historic brainstorming workshop on land policy. Congratulations to you, my friend. And of course, you, the participants, I really say bravo to you, because no doubt it must have been a real heated brainstorming, because it is about land, and it is about graving, and it is about Dugubunia, and so on. So now that we have come to the end of this, congratulations to you, really. Let me begin by, you see, I was supposed to come for the opening, but then I was also drawn somewhere, and also there was a little confusion in the program. So some of the things would have fitted really before you draw out this, but I'm sure mosquito, yeah, even if I say them later, can still help you, as the minister said, because I also enter into some research on this for this purpose. The objectives of any land policy: a comprehensive land, national land policy is required in order to give reason, consistency, and certainty necessary to provide the confidence needed for the promotion of economic development. National land policies have in common the overall objective of providing and establishing an enabling framework, call it outline, for the development and implementation of land-related legislation. It's good you have the MPs here. In an integrated and harmonious manner. In addition to this overall, we have a shared objective. That is, the land policies have specific objectives in specific countries. They are not the same. They vary from country to another, and with some commonalities, of course. So depending on the prevailing and historical circumstances of that particular country. Comparatively, some of these specific objectives of land policy formulation, I want to pick examples in the region because they are more relevant to us and even in our continent. I want to begin with Zimbabwe. What are the specific policies or objectives for land policy in Zimbabwe? Because we have to compare ourselves to others. And when you don't compare, you may jump to wrong conclusion. I've been many times saying, even your own food in the house, if you don't compare the food being cooked in your own house with the food of other houses, you may jump to conclusion that your wife is the best cook. She may not necessarily be the. So you need to compare. So Zimbabwe, for example, the policy is to address historical and contemporary inequalities. But unfortunately, they are now squeezed to the wall by those whose interests have been affected. And you know the economic problem of Zimbabwe. Because land must contribute to economic problems. It is squeezed to the wall. It is also in Zimbabwe to democratize access and control over land. It is to provide the guidelines for land reform processes, because there must be reform from time to time. What you have agreed now, after some years, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, may become obsolete, may demand need for reform, for change. So this is always expected and given room. Reform, further reform process. It is to provide for more optimal use of land. This is a very central objective. Optimal use of land. South Africa. These are countries with outstanding problems of land. South Africa. The policies or the objectives are to redress the injustices of apartheid, of course. You know the apartheid policy in South Africa. Number 2, to foster national reconciliation and stability. We must also have this in mind. To foster reconciliation and stability in South Sudan among our people. Because land can make you differ heavily or bitterly. Number 3 is to underpin economic growth, which is the overall goal. Economic growth. Number 4 is to improve household welfare and alleviate poverty. Because, comrades, everything in this world, everything in every country, whatever you do in whatever institution, and I mean regardless of the institution, must by necessity contribute to combating poverty. If it is not going to contribute to combating poverty, forget, you close it. If it is a school, close it. If it is a church or mosque, close it. And if it is a policy, throw it away. Oh yes, it must contribute in combating poverty, which I believe yours does. Your policy here does. Let us pick another related country. Namibia agrees with the rest of the specific objectives of the two countries I've already gone through, but it has an additional one, which is to redress, because Namibia, like South Sudan, before it got its independence,